for it. Like, I'm not gonna go test.
So what's your opinion about it? Like, cause you know what? Same thing with me is
Yeah.
we never shut down. Like
Yeah, we didn't either.
and it was crazy
See?
busy, but also because meat was so expensive. When it was at $8, we're only making like a buck or 50. So
Yeah.
we kind of fucked up
Yeah.
because we had a high gross number,
Yeah.
but that wasn't profit. It was a
Yeah.
gross. So
It
when we
was,
try to
you were
get a
paying more for it.
so when we
So
try to get a PPP loan, they're like, no, you can't.
really?
You've sold too much. I'm all, but dude, do you have any idea how expensive meat was? But
Yeah.
they didn't even give a shit, right?
Yeah.
And that's what's like, it's hard for businesses. Like, I remember, I think the only person that never shut down was like House of Oliver in Granite Bay.
Really? They didn't?
Do you know who they are?
Well, yeah, that's they're brothers. The owner of the Pink Martini is Kyle Oliver, and the owner of
Oh,
House of Oliver is Matt Oliver, and he owns the one in Lincoln now too.
no, I didn't
I
know.
love that building. Have you ever been in there?
No,
It's
no.
like a 3-story historic building.
Is this new or
Yeah, it's
what's the
in
name of this place in Lincoln?
I forget.
Okay.
It's I think Oliver's Brew House or the
Okay.
Brew House, something along those lines. I could look it up, but
Are they Scottish or?
I don't
Because I've
know.
heard his voice. He has some kind
He
of like
does sound like he has an
like an
accent.
Irish accent.
Kyle, I know, was into high fashion photography and he spent time overseas. I'm not 100% sure what their nationality is,
Okay.
um, but yeah, he does, his brother does sound accent. It does sound like he has an Irish accent, but I don't think they're Scottish. I'm not
No.
100% sure.
Okay.
I don't think they grew up in Ireland though, but
Okay.
I'd have to ask Kyle. But yeah, Matt owns the brew house in Lincoln, but it's this like really cool building. It's like a historic 3-story building. And I'm like, this place is for sure haunted and I love it. And like, there's a big like showroom and whatnot. And
And this recently opened, like this
like
year?
a year,
Ago?
I think last year,
Okay.
I believe. I'm not 100% sure.
I know
I
where I
can text
gotta.
people.
I know where I gotta go now.
Yeah. Go to the Pink Martini.
I will.
Kyle's still there. And
I'll take the topless talk
topless
people with me.
I know. I mean, they'd be fine with it. They accept everyone there at the Pink Martini. But Pink Martini just got their own food truck.
Really?
It's like a badass food truck. Yeah, Chef David Alvarez.
Okay.
He is a great chef. He's excellent. But he definitely took the Pink Martini like up to the next level as far as the food that was being served. And so with him, they got a new food truck. And I have not eaten off the food truck yet, but I'm sure it's amazing because I've eaten Chef Alvarez's food before, and he's incredible. It's too expensive for me now that I don't work there anymore.
So with everything going on with COVID and the
Mhm.
restrictions on everything, and you're
Yeah.
saying about that party,
We
were
like
were
ran
people
out.
patrolling? Were like the
No.
cops? No.
I don't know. I think the cops showed up at one point. I don't know why.
Would be people.
But like
fucking-
people, yeah, because people would come. There's this sushi place next door, and people would probably come get to-go food and be like, they're not allowed to be open and the whatever.
Yeah.
But we were like running out of alcohol, and like because a lot of the I think tequila factories like Patron and Don Julio
Yes, you're right.
were not making tequila.
Even beer.
Yeah,
Beer was
and
hard
we
to come
would
by.
run out of like alcohol and beer. And I remember there was one night we were slammed and we ran out of like lime juice. We juiced our own lime juice, but it was hard to get limes to make the lime juice to like juice our own. And so we like ran out of lime juice. I was like, I don't know what to do. It was funny, but yeah, for a while it was like people are like, how are you out of beer? And I'm like, they just don't, because they cut our deliveries in half. I believe that was how the beer company like resolved it, was doing less deliveries as far as their shortages. So we'd blow a keg and then we just didn't have any backups. And so, but it's not a big beer place. It was more wine.
Wine.
People drank, or cocktails. But.
So are you like a sommelier for wine? You could take a little.
Oh no, I couldn't tell you the difference between a $2 check and like a, aged $2,000 bottle. I could not. I know very, very, very little about wine. It's never been. I've never been a wine drinker, but I was not a good drinker in general. I got in a lot
You
of
don't bartend no
trouble.
more, right? Or do you still?
Mm-mm.
No, okay. Because
No,
you know
not
that new
anymore.
law that they passed, I think this year about like all
Food.
bartenders have to be like certified about
Oh,
because
yeah.
all I know about that is that Thunder Valley they forced everybody to, and I
Uh-huh.
was like, I'm not even. I'm in the back of the house. I'm never.
Yeah.
And it was like you should know the difference of when somebody's intoxicated or
Hmm.
not. And I remember getting cut off myself
Yeah.
and being
I've been
angry,
cut off.
but it
Yeah.
makes sense
It
because
does.
you're and now
Oh, yeah.
they make it worse because if you take that test and you know how everything works, then the bartender's the one who's liable for
Yeah.
whatever happens to that person.
There was a guy in San Diego when I lived in San Diego, and I never worked at Hooters. I applied there, they didn't hire me. But a guy got drunk at Hooters and like went to walk across the street and got hit by a car and killed. And they were holding like the bartender themselves personally liable, and that actually is the thing. And I didn't know, like before it was basically like some places, mostly corporate places like Buffalo Wild Wings, Hooters, those type of places would require that certification. But when I was bartending, it had not yet become a state law. But you get it, and it's pretty simple. Like it's an online course, you have to pay for it, and then you go through the videos online and you get a certification, and it lasts 2 to 3 years, I think, or 2 years and something like that. But they'll teach you about, yeah, intoxication, fake IDs, or like what to look for on an ID, because there has to be like 5 things that you look for. It has to be like,
Even an out of state ID.
yeah, well, an out of state ID is okay as long as it has the person's like physical description. It has to be a federally issued ID, so you're not supposed to take like any other form of like a driver's license or something that comes from a federal entity like the DMV. Military IDs, technically, you're not supposed to accept a military
Mm.
ID because there's not a physical description on some of them, because you have to have the person's physical description and then make sure they're not expired, and I forget what all the things are, but
When we're in high school, we all had Hawaii
oh
IDs.
yeah,
There was a
McLovin.
ream. I know.
Yeah,
I know. When I saw that, I was like, dude, they know what we're doing in high
yeah,
school.
they know.
But I think everyone did because you wanted like an
Mhm.
obscure fucking state that like
Yeah,
nobody visited. But,
yeah.
and
I had an actual Hawaiian ID, so I'm like, that's big.
it's
Yeah, that's so
hilarious.
funny.
Have you ever seen that fake Hawaii ID?
I
Checking ID?
have,
You had
yeah,
here?
I've had fake ID. I've had a bunch, and not here in Sacramento, but I've had a bunch of fake IDs.
In
You're,
Hawaii, where do you get fake California
oh,
IDs?
I don't know if I ever got fake California. I bartended very little in Hawaii, because in Hawaii I worked at the urgent care with that doctor. But yeah, I've gotten a lot of like fake IDs, or if you're smart, like I was, I had an ID that wasn't mine. It was somebody else's that they didn't know that I took it from them, but it was someone older than me. But that only worked if I lied about like my name and so it was, oh, that was, that's actually a funny story. I won't say the name of the bar, but I used to drink underage a
Hmm.
lot at this bar in San Diego. And this girl she was like dating this guy who was roommates with the other guy that I was kind of dating. And I had like said hi to her at this bar, and she was really intoxicated. And I was like, hey, what's up? Like, how's your dude doing? And they had broken up. I didn't know that. And she thought I meant it like as a bad thing. Like I knew that they had broken up and I was rubbing it in or whatever. But she ended up screaming at me in the bar. And she's like, she doesn't even have a real ID. She's not even allowed to drink. And I was like, ugh. And then like I knew everyone. I knew the bartenders there. And they're like, is she telling you the truth, or is she saying the truth? And I'm like, no. And they're like, where's your ID? I was like, I don't have it. So I never got to go back there again.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I drank
Fucking
there.
haters.
I know, I drank there underage for like years, and I knew the bartender. I'd like went out with the bartenders, and then yeah, but I was bad.
That's
But they're
funny.
like,
You're like,
wait, this is a different name. That's not your name. But I'm like,
Yeah, because I remember bartenders would be like, "What's your sign?" or like stuff like, and I'd be like, I don't." But
Yeah.
after it happens, you're like, "No."
Yeah.
But I never liked going out. But my friends were always older than me, and they're like, "You fucking look like you're 21." When I was 18 or 16, and they're like, they would force me to go with them. They would always take me.
Yeah.
And I hated it because like
Really?
they just loved going. To me, it's just like you
Yeah.
can't have a conversation with someone. You
I know.
can't really talk.
What?
What?
Yeah.
And everyone's just lying about everything. You know, I'm like, wait, I thought this, or
Yeah.
the fucking lights turn on, and you're like, wait, you don't look like.
No, I changed my mind. Yeah, I hate, like, now that I don't drink at all anymore, and people would always be like, "You're sober and you're a bartender," and I'm like, "Yeah, because you guys are idiots, and it makes me not want to drink." Like, I used to drink, and I got in a lot of trouble drinking. I've been in jail a time or two, but yeah, I would get so sick from it, and then I just didn't want to do it anymore. And then now, like, I see people who are drunk. Like, I went out for my birthday, and I didn't drink at all. But the other people in the bar, I'm like, this is not, like, fun. Like, I don't, it's, like, crowded, and you can't hear anything. And, like, why did I ever want to do this? It's not fun. I don't enjoy it.
So do you have any places you like to go eat out in Rockland, Roseville area that kind of small, maybe like food trucks, anything?
Food trucks. Well, I need to try the Pink Martini's food truck because I'm just being a jerk and like to not. I don't. They have it on their Facebook and Instagram, but I need to go check that out. I love the Nugget. They have acai bowls, and I'm obsessed with them. And they have
the grocery store.
Yes, they have them like where you get the coffee in the front. They have nut butter acai bowls, and it's like soy. It's like not peanut butter. It's a different kind of peanut butter, but they're amazing. Or where else do I like to go eat? Crumble Cookie. I'm obsessed. I just learned about that place, and I'm like obsessed with it.
How do I know about that? I think my sister loves that. What is that? The name of the business is Crumble Cookie.
It's like they're just cookies, but every week it's like. So I'm a very sweet tooth person, and I got obsessed with Salt and Straw, which we don't have a Salt and Straw. They're only in like the last time I checked, like Portland. And San Francisco has one, but they make their own cones, and they're amazing. But they have new flavors every month. And then for Crumble Cookie, every week they have new flavors. And it's just amazing. They're so good. But it's hit and miss sometimes.
I drive all the way to Nugget to get specific things because, I mean, there's a New Earth market here. I think they have them in Chico and one here in Yuba City. Yeah. When it first opened, like all the veggies were really nice now because no one eats vegetables or organic or nothing. Not here. Yeah, right? Really? Like you could see it. You could see it because when it opened, dude, they had, you know, all the kale, salad, everything looked like Whole Foods in Roseville, right? Like Whole Foods, they always run out of shit all the time, right? And I was like, finally, there. But then I think it was just going bad. So as a business, like, why are you gonna buy something that no one's buying? Yeah. So I remember just driving all the way to Nugget to get like have you ever had dandelion leaf?
No.
It's super jam packed with antioxidants.
Okay.
I read about it in a book that like anytime things are super bitter. They're packed with antioxidants, and the reason is so a bug won't eat it. So it's a bitter, and that way it keeps all the antioxidants. Because it's you know what dandelion leaf is, right?
Yes, I don't know.
It's like the ones you blow. Yes, it's a weed. Okay. It's a weed. So, like to me, when I found out that a dandelion leaf is more nutritious than like spinach and
is it really?
Yes, like it's a superfood.
Yeah.
And I was like, why is it a weed and why does it grow? Like, it made no sense to me. Like, why isn't everybody eating it? Yeah. Because it's bitter. Because I try to eat it like in a salad. You can't. Because
it's not Crumble Cookie.
No, exactly. You have to do like a green juice with like Himalayan salt and like ginger. Yeah, I don't know if you've ever had like juiced ginger.
I love ginger beer. Everyone's like, because that's what I drink at bars, and everyone's like, "Is there alcohol in that?" I'm like, "No, it's amazing," and nobody likes it.
I haven't had it, but who makes it? Do you guys have it at your car?
I'll give you.
Is it in your cooler?
Yeah.
Okay, that's hilarious.
In the car. I know there's popsicles in there for him too.
That's too funny.
Yeah, it's so A Moscow Mule, because for people who don't know what ginger beer is, it's what goes into a Moscow Mule, which is it's vodka, ginger beer, and like simple syrup and mint. But it's hit and miss. I tried like a lot of different kinds. Like if I go to the places like Whole Foods and those type of markets, they'll have like different kinds of ginger beer. But there's a couple different like bigger brands that are really good. I can't remember that. There's Cock and Bull. That's a really good brand that we use at a lot of the bars. Or Fever Tree. A lot of bars use. It's not my favorite, but it's popular. But there's like, yeah, you just have to kind of find the one that you like. There's one that I have that I didn't like really because the flavor. It was kind of weird, but yeah, I love ginger.
Yeah, I love just like a ginger juice. Like I even bought like a machine that juices a ginger because it would fuck up all my blenders.
Yeah,
they would all the knife would get fucked up from the ginger. So I seen online that there was like kind of like have you ever seen a meat grinder?
Yes, I've seen what
so this one has like two like worms, like stainless steel worms that are twirling, and then you just drop it in there and it separates everything, and the juice comes out of the bottom.
Oh.
But for like dandelion, you need ginger. You need a little fucking kick to it, but it's just delicious.
So it's not so bitter.
Like I've come up with so many recipes. Like, do you like micheladas?
Yes, I love micheladas.
So I love drinking, and I remember like I had like a juicing phase, right? And everything was organic: celery, tomato, even like a little piece of garlic.
Yeah.
Right. And I remember I had like a 4-pack of Sierra Nevada or something, like the torpedo, like the strongest one, right? And I was real buzzed, and I made that organic michelada. Mm-hmm. Poured it in there, and my buzz like was cut in half. And then I drank another one, and my buzz went away.
You're like,
no, I was just like, dude, this is a fucking perfect. No one does it because you know how they use like V8 and Clamato or like the tomato juice, the plum, the dry. It's all preservatives, like the same thing that your dog can't eat.
Yeah,
and I've had it too, where I get all bloated or like tahine. I hate that thing. I hate that thing. It gets me so bloated because it's just full of sodium.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
And but I was like, dude, this is perfect. I've had a food truck right after fucking clubs or whatever, and people drank it and they sobered up. And they had no hangover the next day.
That's money right
I still have it. Hey, for whoever wants to use it, I'll fucking shop there. Like, I don't care. Like, people don't think outside the box, though, you know?
Yeah. I know the hot dog places after the bars. Those are always. I'm like, I want to go get a hot dog
with bacon. The bacon wrap ones?
And like grilled onions. They have the best in San Diego.
I bet.
And crew cheese. But yeah, that's it would be great on the dandelion. Would probably go well on an acai bowl. Yeah. Have you ever had an acai bowl?
I think I have, but I can't remember when. It's been years. Okay. I think I had it in San Diego and in Vegas.
It's like a healthy, like it's like yogurt and granola, but acai is like this super berry or whatever with all the antioxidants. And I know a lot of people or a lot of places will put like bee pollen in it, which is bitter, but it's good for allergies. Mm-hmm. I think naturally, like if you drink or if you have honey that's like organic and local, it'll help with seasonal allergies and stuff like that. So.
Yeah, a lot of people don't know that.
Your michelada hangover, or no, it's not micheladas, it's the...
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, micheladas. I was like, wait, that's the wrong one. But yeah, for like hangovers, and that would be amazing. People would buy it.
Yeah, no, there's so many like good things in like the Bay Area. I remember I Ubered for like a year after, because I left Thunder Valley like in 2016, and then I was helping... I had like 60, 80 guests on my audio-only podcast.
Oh, that's awesome.
And they wanted me to help them. So I would like help them get equipment, set everything up. But it was like too much for them. But they wanted me physically there. Mm-hmm. And so I was driving out there. And then I would see everybody, right? Like, what's the other one with the pink lift?
Oh, yeah.
It was everywhere, right? So I was like, you know what? I should just try it. And... I mean, you think of all these negative things, like someone's going to stab me or you don't, because you're driving, you know, honestly, it was like one of the funnest times of my life. Just meeting random people, having these conversations with like random people.
Yeah.
Because you get everybody from the whole United States. It's not just people from fucking San Francisco, you know. And
I know, that's so cool.
It was, but see, I never planned on doing that. You know, like I thought about podcasting like in 2013, just because I would listen to it, and I had no idea how to do it. And then I remember paying like $1,000 that this guy showed you how to do it, and I didn't even know how to use Twitter, Instagram, none of it. No, I was like, this is too much shit. And then to just transcribe everything, you have to like write it. Now you have a software that can do it easy.
Yeah.
But it was just so overwhelming.
Oh yeah, I bet.
And I never wanted to do video, but now I'm like, you know what? As long as you just keep doing it and you're improving, I think this might be one of my best conversations. I know nothing about you.
I know. Everyone's like, what are you going to talk about? I was like, I don't know. Like, excuse me. I was like, I don't know. We're going to just talk and see.
I have a cousin in Santa Cruz who listens, and he was telling me, you know what? Write down what you're saying, because you start getting into like off topics and you forget what you're talking. That's why I'm writing things, because we go off topic, but then I remember, I'm like, I remember this and I remember that.
One of my teachers used to tell me that I bird walked, because I was talking about this last night to a girlfriend, my friend Jen in Tahoe, and he was like, the teacher in Tahoe used to call me like the bird walker, because I would go from the tree, which symbolizes the main point, and I would do all these little bird walks off every branch, because I get very distracted very easily. Yeah.
So you probably have like ADD or something like that. Like I had some kind of learning disorder, which I don't know, or I didn't get it diagnosed. But, but I think it's, if you don't like what you're doing, how is it going to keep your attention?
I get very, like, I feel like I have a hard time like sitting still. I get very ahead of myself. Like my brain gets ahead of myself, like, and more so than like what I can physically be capable of. And like everyone's always like, Shawnalee, sit down, relax. And I'm like, no, stop. Like, I have anxiety. Like, just let me do your dishes or something. Like, I have a hard time just sitting.
So are you thinking a lot about what's going to happen in the future? Like, you know how you're saying you just want things to be kind of more secure?
Yeah.
Do you have things from the past that you still remember that kind of... Yeah. I'm asking you this because I knew none of this. I know this school... I think she's a school counselor, like psychologist.
Yeah.
And she would tell me, like, the reason you have a short fuse or the reason you blow up is because you have traumatic events as a child that you didn't feel safe. Yeah. And I had a lot of those. Like, I'm like, I don't even want to remember that. But the more you bury it and keep it in, the more like it affects you. And I think the same thing with like anxiety is we're not living in the moment.
Yeah.
Like there's a real good audiobook. Use have you ever used DuckDuckGo?
Yeah, I have.
So the good thing about that is it doesn't know who's doing it, but it's gonna it'll give you like exactly what you want, because a lot of people will post like people's audiobooks on YouTube. You're not supposed to, but it's like copyright infringement.
Oh, okay, yeah.
But if you use DuckDuckGo, you'll find if you know what you want, you'll find it. And there's this guy called Eckhart Tolle, The Power of Now.
Okay.
And it's about the power of living in the moment and not thinking about the past and bringing from the or thinking into the at a later point, I'm going to be happy because I'm going to achieve this. Because I think the same way. I think the same way. Yeah. But when I'm like present, and even if I meditate, like there's just these things I never used to do before. Yeah. But I'm like bad at meditating. There's guided meditation. Yeah. Do you know who Dr. Joe Dispenza is? I think he's done You Are the Placebo, Superhuman. There's a bunch of like different stuff where like a lot of these like spiritual teachers say that we're not separated from God. We are God. We're just a fraction of him. Oh, okay. And we don't think we're connected, but we always are. Yeah. So if you're in, what's it called? An eternal being, right? That never dies. That is all. We can create anything we want, but I think
Yeah.
Because we think of a later point of a happiness or something from the past is stopping it that we don't create now. Like even if it's just like a 1%, right? Do something. Like, I don't know how many times you sew a day, but like sew for like an hour, like dedicate a portion of your day to do that, you know? Cause I don't either. Like the business consumes me.
I know.
It consumes me completely because people don't come to work. Mm-hmm. Sometimes I'm 3 employees and,
oh, that's what you were talking about with the call outs. I'm like,
yeah, like
how many people are going to be at this podcast?
No, it was no, just workers that if they're there already did like all the hard things. They just have to help. Cause simple to me, the business is so fucking easy. It's not hard.
Yeah,
I could do it, but it's too. I've done it so many times that it's easy for me, and I need something else. I need an outlet to do something different.
Yeah, you need to be like, you know, driven to where you're being challenged or like, you know,
doing new things that are difficult.
You're not stagnant. Yeah. I think that's actually really important too. I need to get better about kind of slowing down. My one friend, Elle, is very good with that, like being present. She always talks about that, being present and like kind of like putting the phone away and like actually being present. And we were sitting down on my birthday and I kind of was like, okay, I'm going to put the phone away because I didn't want to like be disrespectful to her. And we just had such great conversation, just like sitting at the dog park and kind of just chilling. And that's like the first time I've sat still. And I need to get better about just being able to, there's lots of like meditation or teachings on when you feel like, I guess it's more like manifestation. Like if you act like you're running towards something, you're therefore saying that you don't already have it. So how is that manifestation? Like you're supposed to act like you already have it and therefore it'll come, like type of thing. So I
mean, it sounds easier than it is. I mean, it is. No, it is hard. It is hard. Like all these things, these are just like recent things that I've kind of come across. And I mean, even if it's just 10 minutes of meditating, like I try to do at least like a 10-minute grateful meditation about what, you know, things that you're grateful for. And it's guided, right?
Yeah.
And when I am grateful, and even when that customer comes in, I'm all, oh, thank you. Like in my head, and more, and they keep coming in. And then I just focus on like the little things I'm doing. 100. And then that way my brain isn't like my brain's always thinking of shit. Remember that customer that told you shit? And, right. And it's just, but he talks about that. He talks about that too, about how don't let your mind is not you. It's a tool that helps you do something. Don't let it control you. And we let it because it always thinks about things and you're like, it's there, but it's like, don't ignore it. Don't acknowledge it, but just kind of let it like flow down the river of thoughts. Like just let it.
Oh yeah, I've heard that before. Like just as like you're supposed to envision it as it's like going down a river or something. Yeah.
And that way, and then eventually with more and more time that you're present and practicing that, then it doesn't control you. Like, do you know who Mike Posner is?
Mike Posner.
I think it took a pill in Ibiza.
Oh yeah. I was like, is that the guy from Linkin Park? His name is Mike Shinoda.
Yeah. No, but he has an amazing podcast with like Aubrey Marcus, and like he walked like the whole United States, was bitten by a rattlesnake. Like,
oh yeah, I've heard of that. He went across the country, and I was like, wait, that's the guy that's the celebrity, and he looks like he looks like Tom Cruise or Tom whatever his name is in Castaway.
Yeah, he does. But I think he came out about going to like a meditative retreat somewhere in Colorado. It's just him and no guitar because he has his guitar with him everywhere.
Yeah.
And he was just like, he would call his mind Charlie, and Charlie was always fucking thinking, and he was just, I think on the 3rd or 4th day, finally he's like, there's no Charlie. Like his mind fucking, but it still comes back. But it's just little practices like that to keep us in the present that help us become our fuller self.
Yeah, I always think back to Van Wilder. Did you ever see that movie?
No, I kind of remember it.
He's like in college for like 8 years, Ryan Reynolds.
Oh, yes.
So funny. Yes. That movie was like a religion when I was in high school. But he says, like, worrying is like sitting in a rocking chair. It gives you something to do, but it doesn't get you anywhere. And I try to always, like, tell myself that. And it's silly, but it's true. Because it's like, if you have that anxiety about, like, what's going to happen, because I'm so bad about that, you're basically putting yourself through something twice. Or, like, you're putting yourself through something that may not even happen. And so what's the point in it? And it does take you out of the present moment where you're able to, like, really appreciate. Like, sometimes I'll sit with him at the dog park and just give him a popsicle and, like, just sit there and hold it while he licks it, because it's very cute. But it also, like, brings me, like, to a halt and kind of like, okay, take a deep breath, like, just be here and appreciate this moment. And everyone needs to get better at that, but I definitely do. So.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's something I've always just like you said, you have to be able to listen and be open-minded. And I felt many points in my life where I was like, this is it. This is what the fuck life is. Like, you pay a fucking mortgage.
Like, what's the point?
You put in new flooring. You paint walls. You fucking. I was like, this is not fun. Like, I didn't think this was what fucking marriage was. And And it's funny because society says, right, this house or this 401k and all this stuff. But in reality, those are all traps. Because, look, even like my ex, she has a real good job. She works for the tribe that owns Thunder Valley Casino. She does like health and wellness insurance stuff for them. Yeah. And, but she can only get like 10 days off. Even though legally she's supposed to get 2 weeks, like PTO.
Yeah, she only gets 10 days.
They won't give her. And I remember like thinking about that, like, so what's the point of all this if you can't even like do what you want, right?
Yeah, that's essentially why I kind of, I mean, there's other factors, but when I stopped bartending, it was about myself. Like, I was not happy. Like, I was making all this money, but I wasn't with my friends on Friday nights and, like, you know, having those moments or those experiences. And I was working so hard and I had all this money and it was kind of like, for what? Like, you know, like, what's the point if I, like, still never felt like really completely fulfilled? Like, I knew that it wasn't like the restaurant industry for me was a stepping stone. For other people, like, I understand people make careers out of it. But for me, I knew I wasn't going to want to stay there forever. And I stayed because I didn't know where to go next. And I kind of like was like, okay, like, I just need to, like, do it and just get out of the restaurant industry and just figure it out. Like, even though I had no plan, I was just like, I'll just figure it out as I go.
I think if you're good at it and you can make like decent money, like, you know, what is it? Friday, Saturdays are your peaks, right? Those are the most tips. That's only 2 days, right?
Football,
And, well, football, right? Sundays, I forgot about that. And today the Raiders are playing.
Are they?
Yeah.
Are you a Raiders fan?
No, I'm a diehard Eagles fan. Like, for the longest time.
Michael Vick. I had a neighbor who was an Eagles fan. It's totally fine right now. At least you're not a Patriot. No, Seattle. I hate the Seahawks.
Are you a Niner fan?
I'm not really a football fan. Sorry, no, or bird walking because I got super distracted. But I'm not a huge football fan. I was raised a Niners fan, yes. And that is if I had to choose a team, I would always pick the Niners. But I don't really watch football anymore. But
that's the reason.
Stresses me.
That's the reason I'm an Eagle fan, because everyone's a Raider and a Niner fan, right? And I was just like, I fucking hate this. Like, everybody was in love with, and they were good in that time. And I remember just being like, nah, I'm a fucking Eagles fan. This is my team. And I've always liked to go against whatever the fuck's going on. You know, I don't like to kind of follow trends or anything like that.
My nephew did that. He was like, I'm a Bengals fan because my sister is a Niner fan. And then her husband from El Paso, Texas is a Dallas Cowboys fan. So that's a thing in the house with them. But then my nephew was like, I'm a Bengals fan. I was like, good for you.
I'm like you too. I remember getting all crazy, like passionate.
I cried at I've cried like every time we lost the playoff game. I cried. Oh my God. I got into a bar fight, cried, got arrested, and then it was bad. But
okay, let's see. What? Tell me about this this bar fight.
I fought a guy in a Eagle, or not an Eagle, Seahawks jersey, because he was making fun of me after we lost. So Kaepernick threw an interception in the end zone. It was like 2014, I think, and we lost that playoff game, which had we won, we would have gone to the Super Bowl. But there was bad calls.
It wasn't against Seattle though, right?
Yeah, it was. It was Seattle. Okay. Yeah, and because I don't like their coach because I'm like, he cheats. I think he cheats. There's no basis or like facts to support that I know of, but I'm like, he cheats. I just don't like him. And so yeah, but I was at this bar in Bentonville, Arkansas, because I was randomly like over there for my brother, and this guy was just making fun of me because I started crying. I was wasted and like fought him and got arrested, and it was stupid. It was so dumb. But
did he throw a drink on him?
Oh no, I like punched this guy in the face. Yeah, and he was like this much taller than me, and I was like, fuck you. And I like punched him, and we were like two of the only people like left at the bar, like, and the bartender was like, Jesus Christ, like, I have this midget girl over here fighting this guy in a football jersey. And but yeah, they just arrested me because then they're very Bible Belt country over there. Like, I'm sorry, I hate to say that, but they're like, you can't buy alcohol on Sundays. And I was like, what?
Really?
You can't buy. I don't know if it's still that way. I would assume.
I know Maryland's like that.
Yeah.
North Carolina, I believe. There's like dry states, right? Like Utah has crazy
strict about it. Yeah, Utah's strict about it. But yeah, they don't tolerate the drunken white girl wasted over there very well.
No, but I mean, I've been in those moments too.
Yeah.
Like, I remember we drove couples to Arizona when the Eagles were playing the Cardinals. I think they lost to the Steelers in the Super Bowl, the Cardinals.
Oh, yeah.
But it was like the AFC or the NFC Championship game in Arizona. We drove out there. Oh and I had my Eagles jersey and everything, and this kid slapped the back of my neck. Like, the Eagles were driving. I think there was like 2 minutes left to win it or whatnot, but the receiver dropped the fucking ball, and I was like,
you're like
cheering. And no, I was cheering. I was like the only one, and it was nothing but Cardinal fans behind me, right? Yeah. In fucking Arizona. And this kid fucking, I don't know who it was. Somebody slapped like the back of my neck, and I got but I was drunk too.
Yeah.
And I was like, who the fuck did it? Like, and this like teenager got up and was like, it was me. And I was like, fuck you guys. Like, who's a fucking, be man enough if we're going to fucking do it. But, and I didn't even think about it. But it was like me and my fucking wife at the time could have gotten fucking jumped. But maybe because I'm a big guy, nothing.
Yeah, you don't worry about it.
No, but it was stupid. Like, I think about it and I go, dude, we could have got, because it was nothing but fucking Cardinal fans, you know?
Yeah.
And I remember taking off my jersey because we're staying in a hotel not far from the stadium.
Yeah.
And I had to take off my fucking jersey because everyone's like fucking celebrating leaving the stadium and shit. And I've never been so fucking depressed in my life. Like, for a week.
Yeah.
And I remember
felt that.
And I thought to myself, what the fuck? I don't even play for this team. I'm like not associated with it, and I'm all fucking depressed. Like, what the fuck is wrong with me?
You get like emotionally invested in like the camaraderie of it. It's just like, and then it's like the pride thing. People are like, oh, like, you're sad because you lost, and you're like, fuck you.
No, but that's a dick shit. Like, you shouldn't be like that, because it's like, even like the Eagles recently won the Super Bowl, and I've been a fan for 2018.
Yeah, I
when did marijuana become legal here in California? It was like 2018.
I think, I don't know.
I think so. I think it was 2018. And I remember going, I couldn't even like finish watching the game because they lost to the Patriots in the Super Bowl, and they've always been close, right? And I couldn't watch the fucking end because I knew I can't, right? So I remember taking off and going, I'm going to go buy some fucking weed and smoke it. And then I was with some girl, and I was like, I saw the coach talking. I'm like, oh, fuck, they won. And they won with like a crazy fucking play. Oh, like, I missed, but I couldn't watch it. I just couldn't.
That's how I was. I'm like, I can't, like, I have chest pain watching football. Like, I can't do it anymore. It was like, because I worked at the Pink Martini.
Did you watch this last one when they lost to the Rams?
The Niners, the Super Bowl? Yeah.
Well,
was it the Rams?
They would have gone to the Super Bowl.
Oh, they would have. No, the last time I watched football was the last time the Niners were at the Super Bowl. Like, 2 years ago, I guess.
Was it 2 years ago?
Yeah, because it was during COVID, and the Pink Martini was open, and I bartended.
Oh yeah,
there.
they lost to Kansas City. Yeah.
Oh yes, because the other bartender was a Kansas City fan, and he was like talking smack to me, and I was like, "Shut up!" But yeah, I was like, I couldn't. I still have like original like Candlestick Stadium like gear from games, but I still have like jackets and stuff. They're probably worth money now, but yeah.
There you go.
What?
Sell it.
I know, sell them, except I wear like child sizes, so
somebody wants it for their kid.
I know, that's actually a good point. But yeah,
there's a lot of vintage shit that people look for nowadays, and they pay a lot of money for it.
Oh yeah, I can't watch. I haven't watched football since that game.
Since that Super Bowl.
Not intentionally, pretty much.
Well, same shit happened again. Like Jimmy Garoppolo was put in a position to win the game, and
he just.
No, they couldn't. Yeah. The guy was. The thing with football is when you know for a fact that they're gonna throw the ball, they're gonna fucking get the quarterback.
Yeah.
When you have a running game or you have some kind of way to like keep them guessing, and then you have a chance. Yeah. But the Niners, I think, couldn't run the ball, and you knew it was gonna be a fucking pass.
He was not. He wasn't the greatest quarterback, but
he's good looking though, right?
Yeah, he's pretty good looking. I didn't notice
all that. The girls notice Garoppolo.
Yeah,
he's a winner in that department, right?
But they because we had Kaepernick, and then Kaepernick got all like political, and I was like, just fucking play football. Like nobody wants to hear this shit. I mean, sorry, that's a very like strong stance to take, but I feel like just like church and state, football and politics should be separated. I appreciate that he was using the platform he was given to make a difference, but it just got so out of hand. And it was whatever. But Kaepernick was like a good quarterback. And then, Garoppolo, I was like,
the Niners could have gotten Tom Brady, right?
I don't want to hear it.
I'm a hardcore football nerd. Like I know about like local kids who are good, college, right? Like I've always been like a hardcore nerd. Like I like knowing about like all the in and outs.
Yeah.
So like I think the Patriots came to Kyle Shanahan and was like, look, we want a second round pick. And you know who Bob Kraft is? He's the owner of the Patriots. Yeah. So his kids are about to take over the Patriots.
That's pretty cool.
And everybody was high on Jimmy Garoppolo because in practice, like I guess he's like out throwing them and everything, right?
Yeah.
And everyone was like, Tom Brady's over the hill.
Yeah.
And he's from the Bay Area, right? He's from San Mateo. And
I know a guy who knows him.
He was gonna go, but who stopped it? I think Kraft was the one that stopped it, and the kids got all mad because they're like, you're getting rid of our future quarterback.
Okay.
But if Brady would have gone to the fucking Niners, they would have won, like, I don't know how many Super Bowls.
Tom Brady is...
It was this far away from fucking Brady going to the Niners.
But yeah, Tom Brady was amazing.
You know he's still playing, right?
Yes.
I didn't know. I didn't believe it. I was like, he retired already. His wife said he was going to leave him.
Daniel Tosh does, Tosh.0. He does the funniest skit on Tom Brady. It was Brett Favre. Never mind. I stand corrected. But he's like, Brett, the world thinks you should retire. He's like, you said 12 million, right? The world can go fuck themselves. But it was so funny. But yeah, I bet Tom Brady's still playing. He's in good shape. He's good looking. He's a good guy.
I know. I think he loves what he does, right? And Giselle, I think, told him there was a big old documentary when they played the Eagles. They were following them the whole year.
Yeah, I
mean,
she's a Victoria's Secret model. She doesn't get left.
But I don't think she does that anymore, though, right? I think she's a full-time stay-at-home mom, right?
Oh, okay.
And because I think they have 2 kids, and then he has 2 kids outside of the marriage, so that whole thing is probably hard to juggle and
stressful. I'm sure because he's not a dad. Probably while
he's not. He's not. There's no way.
Yeah, there's no way.
Like I saw the damn documentary, and the season, and this is before they played the whole season before they lost to the Eagles, and preseason he has a QB coach that's looking at his mechanics, hey, raise your arm a little higher, and he's in Costa Rica with his wife. He's fucking still every
Still
single
training,
and that's why he's good, because it's like calm in nature. Like people dissect his mechanics and everything, and they draw lines and shit, and they go, look what he's doing, like and he's fucking 45 doing, and everyone says after 35 you're done, and he's still fucking doing it.
Brett Favre, he's so funny. He played forever.
He was more of a gunslinger, liked to party.
Give me a left-handed football. Say that to the sideline. I used to crack me up.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's crazy. I bet they're looking at Tom. He's like Tom Brady. I will say is like probably the greatest quarterback of all time.
I didn't think he was, but he definitely is.
If you ask my sister, she'll say like Jerry Rice or Joe Montana. But
I'm surprised you're not a Aaron Rodgers fan, being from Northern California and everything.
He's a little, Aaron Rodgers is all right.
He just came out with a big old 2-hour podcast with this one dude who's done like every psychedelic that's alive. What do you know about psychedelics?
I've taken mushrooms a time or two. I've been too scared to do anything like.
How old were you when you took psilocybin?
Mushrooms, I took those in like high school. We used to get them, but it was
just like 2 caps, or do you remember what you took?
No, I don't know. I can't remember. It was with my high school sweetheart that we did this, but we ate a lot, and then we drank orange juice because that's supposed to help, like, have more of an effect, the acidic properties of orange juice, and we ate like a whole 8 of them, and it was not good.
Do you remember the experience?
Yeah, I do. I remember being scared, and then I was like so hot, and then I was like outside in the snow talking to Mac Dre with my friend Roxanne, which Mac Dre was no longer alive at this point.
So you were a big fan? What was Mac Dre telling you?
Yeah, I don't remember, but I was like, Mac Dre's out here, and Roxanne's like, oh God, like somebody get her some water, and like I was fine. My high school sweetheart, I think, was not as fine, but his friend showed up to take care of him.
Was Mac Dre rapping to you, or do you
I think
he was?
So.
He was singing?
I mean, I don't remember like talking to him. I hope not, because he wasn't actually there. But it was just, we listened to a lot of Mac Dre, and so I think, I don't know, I could probably hear the music downstairs, and I was thinking he was there.
Oh, okay.
But yeah.
Yeah, I remember I had like 3 caps or something at a party in high school, and I remember feeling like, because where I went to high school, it was kind of like in the mountains. Not really mountains, it's like a hilly area, and like all the classes, I think there were like 3 stories, so from class to class you could like run into the hills and go smoke weed, right? And I like never bought weed, but everybody I knew that was older, right? So like freshman year, they'd always be like, hey, you want to smoke? Fuck it, yeah. And I remember smoking, but it always made me kind of lethargic and like lazy, right? And paranoid. And so when I took shrooms, it was kind of like on weed, but it was an upper instead of a downer, right? And I was just laughing and having a good time. And I didn't know that, like, you know about the 2 different strains of marijuana, sativa and indica? Like, I didn't know sativa is more like for hiking and when you're being active. Like, do you know what BJJ, like Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu?
I know what jiu-jitsu is.
So like high level black belts smoke a lot of weed before they roll, so they can there's all kinds of like things like that you go, and because I used to be like anti-marijuana, and then when I found out that it can help you, like but certain ones, I think it acts different for everyone. Like I think I have like a pound of mushrooms right now in my room, but I'm waiting to use them. No, I'm waiting to use them because I want to have some kind of transformative experience, because I've heard like a lot of MMA fighters taking it and just kind of gives them like a reset. But I want to be like out in nature, either like Mendocino or somewhere.
Well, yeah, the peyote, isn't that what they do, where people go to the like teepees and they take peyote, and it's like you trip balls for like however long, and then you come out like with a new person.
Well, I think it's all about setting, like what you're doing it for. Like right when I rebooted my podcast in 2020, I had these two kids right here from Yuba City. They were both like 23, 24. One was a barber. I don't know what the other one was. And I would see this Hyundai at the gym that said ayahuasca. And I was like,
oh yeah,
I've been fascinated ever since I've heard of it. Like,
what is it? Remind me.
So ayahuasca is a brew that originated down in the Amazon, like in Ecuador, Peru, Brazil.
Has cocaine in it, obviously. I'm just kidding.
It's a psychedelic that's very transformative. Like a lot of people say that they have they experience ego death, right? Like you experience, because we're so afraid of dying, right?
Yeah.
Like I'm not anymore.
Really?
But no, just because I know it's this isn't the end. This never ends. It's like, I think if we really knew what we were and what we are, like we'd be so grateful and like, but we never have that perspective to look at things. And I think that's what I mean. Everyone should not take psychedelics because it can make you like
not
crazy, right? But if you don't know what you're doing, right? And so do you know like what an MAO inhibitor is? So DMT is a molecule, right? That they think activates when we dream, and they say that's our third eye, our pineal gland.
Yeah, I've heard of that. Okay.
It's not science, right? Like they say that's where DMT comes. There's even a documentary called The Spirit Molecule. Okay. It's specifically about DMT, about ayahuasca, about you can smoke DMT as a powder and it will fucking take you to like outer space and talk to like beings and like you have all. I haven't done any, but I'm like super fascinated by it. You know, like I want to do it. But these two kids, right? I approached them. I was like, "Hey, dude, why did you say ayahuasca?" And he had the fucking spirit molecule on his window, like it's like chemistry, right? It's shaped a certain way. Okay. And he's like, yeah, I took it and it was transformative. And I'm like, oh, dude, I have a podcast. And he was but dude, I had him on. Yeah. And I didn't hit. No, I didn't hit record on the fucking microphones. Oh, so the way I'm recording now is they're all picking up noise. Sound, but you can hear the fan and everything. Oh yeah. And this, I just sync it with the software, and it makes it crisp and clear. So the guy, like, I think he got offended because like I couldn't, and then COVID hit. So I haven't seen him like in 2 years. But dude, he had the greatest story about. That's so cool. Like three of them went to this place to take. I think it was gonna be Nevada City, and then they had to go. They went to Ukiah like the last day or something. And he said because it's so dark and there's no light pollution, like you could see the Milky Way and like the stars. Like I've never seen it like that.
Really go to Tahoe.
Yeah, it looks that good. Yeah. And they were just like, wow, you know, and they haven't even taken anything, and they kind of knew about it, but not really. Yeah. And they were supposed to go on a diet for like 2 weeks. So no sex, no masturbation, no alcohol. Like
you're supposed to do that before you take it?
Yes. So it helps more because there was 3 of them. All right. So there was 3 of them. One of the guys was like East Indian, and he didn't like listen to any of this stuff. So he ate whatever and he drank it and he didn't fucking experience anything. Oh, really? The 2 other guys had these like crazy visions and like one of them had depression. He doesn't have depression anymore. But one of the stories that I can't forget is they were visited by like these 3 beings. And one of them was like a robot. And I forget what the other 2 beings were. And they were like explaining the universe and life and everything, right? The galaxy. Yeah. And the guy kept repeating it over and over, like, wait. This is like blowing my mind. Like, say it again to me. And the robot or whatever got so mad. I was like, this is the reason we don't like communicating with you guys, because you human beings are so fucking stupid. And it just and the thing had ended. And I was like, what?
And both kids saw it?
Yeah.
Or just the one?
Yes.
Both of them?
Yes. But there was
the third one was like sober, like just messing with them.
No, I think he was just in the car, like he did it. But there's a lot of stuff like that, like things that. But it. That's crazy. it takes years, I think, to process, or months to process whatever happens.
Yeah.
And fuck, I hope I see. He came into my. Here's the funny thing is he came into my store, but it's been 2 years, and I interact with so many people that it's hard to remember.
Yeah.
Right. And I haven't seen him like in 2 years.
That's crazy.
And he left before his like receipt came out, and I noticed his name, and I saw his name, and I go, fuck, why didn't he say something? I was like,
oh, that's crazy.
Fuck, dude, because
I've been that ayahuasca
I've been thinking about him, like, I wish I could have him back on, and there he was, and I know it was him, so
that's crazy. I'm gonna start asking people.
He had
the guy that has the ayahuasca.
He had a notebook and everything about the experience. I want to do it too. Like, I want to do mushrooms first. There's so many things. There's ayahuasca. There's peyote.
Yeah, kava they had in Hawaii, which I don't really know what it is.
It's like a root that's like a drink, and it's kind of like coffee, like energetic.
Cocaine.
It's a hell of a drug, right?
But I've tried that. But I think I was already drunk and I didn't like do anything in Hawaii, but I've heard about it.
Then there's also the DMT, like, and DMT is in everything. Yeah. It's in all kinds of plants, all kinds of, and the reason that if we eat it and we don't trip out is because there's an MAO inhibitor that prevents us in our stomach. So the people in the jungle mix it, they make it in a tea, and it tastes like fucking mud tea. Like, it doesn't taste good. Yeah, it doesn't taste good, but they figured out these other roots and these other herbs that they mix together, so you can have this experience. Sometimes you're just puking and diarrhea is coming out. But I think that's if you don't diet or whatever. But it helps either way because
cleans their system out or whatever.
And it helps with like a lot of trauma. There was the first person I heard that took DMT was on Rogan, and she used to be a CNN reporter. Her name's Amber Lyon. Dude,
Amber Lyon. She was the one that had CNN. Is that what that movie where I'm like drawing a blank, but it was a movie about how the one girl spoke out about the major news company about like sexual harassment.
I don't think it was her, but I think because she covered like a lot of wars and shit. She had like, she said from taking ayahuasca that she was getting all that negative energy from like people from Bahrain and Afghanistan and all this, because she would interview those people, like fucked up people. That like that negative energy would come into her, and she talked to Rogan, and Rogan talked about taking DMT, and he's like, what the fuck, you're crazy, you fucking you went down to the Amazon, and she even got bit by a spider, and she like dude, like all kinds of shit happened to her.
I've gotten bitten by a brown recluse. It was bad.
A what?
A brown recluse.
Is that a spider? Okay. Those are super pointless.
It's on my shin, thankfully, but you can't really.
No, it's not there.
You can, well, it's right here. You can kind of see it. It was this like huge hole in my leg, but I don't know if it did anything to my personality.
And she took like mushrooms, and like there's places that they'll make you like milkshakes of mushrooms, and like people talk about like seeing gnomes in the trees and shit, like all these like
that's crazy
legends, and like they all come
Jimi
from
Hendrix.
a reason.
He used to put like acid on his forehead or something.
Him and Carlos Santana.
Oh, really? Carlos Santana.
Carlos Santana said he took acid, and then his fucking guitar became like a rainbow blob or something, but he was still able to fucking play. Like,
that's insane.
There's so many of it. Like,
they say we only use like 10% of our brain. So some of these drugs have to open up like other chambers that never.
I know, and I was so scared of it, like. Because I remember in high school, everyone's like, no, don't fucking take acid. Don't take any of this stuff because it's going to stay in your spine for the rest of your life. But those are all fucking lies because...
Really?
Because I wasn't anti-drugs, but I was just like, okay, I'm just trying to get ahead in life and start a business and be successful, right? That was like my only motivation, right?
Yeah.
And when I was at Thunder Valley Casino, I met this baker who was from San Francisco and was a surfer, a bartender, had all these stories, right?
Yeah.
Amazing fucking guy, amazing guy. And he was talking about mescaline.
Mescaline
is actually peyote in like a pill form.
Okay.
Right. And he would say that him and his girlfriend would take mescaline, and they'd go to Half Moon Bay, and she'd take her top off.
Oh my God.
Flash people, right? And he just had all these stories, and he's like, do you know what mind expansion is?
Yeah.
I'm a what? He's on mind expansion.
That's crazy.
And he was talking about mushrooms and LSD. And then, like, I think in the 70s, that's what they were trying to do is everyone. And that's when they, like,
they made it that whole.
But it's slowly changing now. I think, like, mushrooms is being used as a therapeutical aid. And, like, Molly,
oh God, yeah.
Well, a good made from a lab that's a good pure form. They're using it for soldiers with PTSD. With one therapy with a psychotherapist is getting rid of their PTSD.
That's crazy. I've had people tell me that they are like microdosing mushrooms, where basically you're not like take it as to where I took them. Like you take a bunch and you trip balls, but like they're taking very little amounts, and it's supposed to cure like depression and anxiety and like kind of like reframing. So one interesting thing I've learned through like my own personal studies in psychology is when we remember something, you never remember the actual event. Our brains remember the last time we remembered it. And so there's a lot of studies where hypnosis, like if you hypnotize someone and take them back to that memory, and then basically they call it reframing, you change the way you view the memory. Like, oh, like this person was really mean to you. Well, let's think about maybe they had a really hard day. And like, so you start thinking about them like, oh, I feel kind of bad. Like, and then the next time you remember it, because you're never going to remember the actual memory, you start thinking about it from the last time you remembered it, getting hypnotized, and it reframes the event for you. And they do that with trauma. I just think that's like the coolest thing ever. Like they take the hypnosis person, I don't know what they're called, but they take you back to the event, and then you change like your perspective on it, which goes back to the like mind over matter thing. And it like cures trauma. And I'm like, that's really cool.
That's
like,
what my friend, that's what my friend was telling me about, going back to my childhood, like, and being in those moments where I felt, scared or afraid or not protected. Yeah. And I had a lot of those fucking moments.
Yeah, that's hard.
She said, you gotta remember those and then talk to yourself. Like, hey, everything's okay. And I mean, it sounds so simple, but I think just going back there and doing it over and over. Because one guy, I think, did ayahuasca, and all for like, I don't know, the whole fucking night, he had to go back and remember to process all that and get rid. And he didn't want to do it. He's like, I don't want to. Like, I have things to do tomorrow. Like, because he knew it was going to be hard, and he was going to cry, and he was going to release a lot of like negative energy and stuff. But it's working. I'm glad he's feeling better now.
Yeah, you're not
feels more comfortable.
Yeah, it's very draining. Even though it can be very healing, it's very draining to like emotionally like excuse me, revisit like a lot of those past traumas, and it's exhausting. Like a lot of times.
We all have trauma. We all do, you know, and I think we don't process it the right way, and it manifests in different things inside of us.
Yeah, a friend was telling me that recently. She's like, yeah, it's good to see you get emotional, because I got kind of like teared up, and we send each other Marco Polo. It's an app, and we send each other videos, and she's like, I'm glad you're showing emotion, because a lot of times I think you suppress all your emotions and like you deflect it and you focus on other people's problems, and then you're not dealing with your stuff, which, you know, it's got to come out somewhere. So it probably wouldn't be in the best way. So she's like, I'm glad you're like processing it. And I'm like, okay, like I see you, I hear you.
You know what? You have good friends to notice things like that. You know, because I think that's what helped me too. Is I have like this small group of friends that I've known since you know, 3rd or 4th grade, and they're all living their life, married and everything. Yeah. And one of them was like a 3rd grade teacher, and he's like a principal now in like Sunnyvale. Okay. And he would always talk about stuff like interesting things, and to me, I was like kind of like a meathead for a long fucking time, for like until like 33, 34, and then slowly like. Yeah, I started opening up and listening to different ideas and different thoughts, and I was just like, fuck, I was stuck in this thought pattern for so fucking long. Yeah. Now I love just finding things out and just listening and
learning.
Just like meeting you know? But look at, honestly, I swear that every time that it's just in the moment, like I didn't think we were going to talk today, right?
I know, right?
Because in the morning. And I've learned so much from you, and I'm very thankful from you coming here and taking that step to talk to a stranger, coming to a town that you don't even visit.
Why does he want to talk to me? I was going to tell you that I have but do you like to read books, I gather? Jimmy Santiago Baca. Do you know who he is? This book changed my life. He is a great American poet. He's a writer. Obviously, he wrote a book. But he talks about his life. And he is originally, I believe, from Mexico. And he got into some trouble. And he was illiterate and did not learn how to read and write until he was sitting on death row at a maximum security prison. And now I can't remember how he got off, like from what he did, but he was basically in jail for something he didn't do, I think, if I remember correctly. But I wrote a paper when I was in college for a short time. I wrote a paper on this book, and it's an amazing book. It's like $8 on Amazon, and he's an amazing storyteller. It's a beautiful story. It's like so moving. Like this guy, he literally was sitting there waiting to die, and he taught himself how to read and write from this older gentleman who would like write him letters, just someone he never met, who like took the time to write him letters as like a kindness, because they think they have programs where you can write letters to people sitting on death row to like, you know, it's humane to like give them something to like, I don't know. He was in solitary confinement for like years. It was crazy. He's got a crazy story, but you would love that book, I bet. It's amazing. It changed my life.
You know what's funny about that is there's this history teacher. I think he's at UCLA. He's Italian. He has a real thick fucking Italian accent, and I heard him on Joe Rogan. Yeah. And he's also like a high-level jiu-jitsu practitioner. And I think he had, I don't know if he has it anymore. He had a podcast called History on Fire. And I don't know how they brought up his mom. He was talking about his mom and how his mom came to the U.S. to take a Native American out of jail. She was not a lawyer. She was not like none of that. Oh my gosh, that gives me chills. And but she would dream about him, and like she didn't even know who he was or nothing. And she was able to get him out of jail. She was? Did she like fall in love with him? No, she didn't fall in love to him. But I just, she was like a very spiritual person from Italy, right? And I don't know, I don't know if his friend interviewed her or what. But when she was a kid, she said she would see auras around people's heads. And then somebody told her that's not true. You can't see, and then she couldn't see it no more. So there's all kinds of things so like that that I go, no, because it's like what we consume and what we believe creates, shapes our realities. You know? Because how can this person who lives in Italy, doesn't speak English, has a vision of this Native American who's in jail, and like she finds him and like gets him out of fucking jail. Like that is so and he has like a real connection to like is it the Dakota from the Sioux? I think they're called Dakota tribe. I don't know, but they have I don't know if it's called a tree dance or something where they pierce their chest with like this wooden thing that and they dance all day. Oh, okay. And then when it rips out of their chest, and they have this crazy vision and stuff like. Oh my gosh. And that's like a psychedelic. There's all kinds of rituals like that from like different tribes. Like I don't know if it's in Africa. Do you know what a bullet ant is? A what? A bullet ant. They say those are like the worst things that you can ever like. They bite, like it, I've never heard like your teeth hurt and shit, right? Oh yeah. That they do this thing where it's like a mitt, and they have a mitt full of fucking bullet ants, and they stick their hands in there, and they have these crazy fucking experiences and stuff. That's crazy. If you lick, supposedly, I never a toad. This. No, snails in Hawaii. If you lick them, but it's a specific type of snail. Okay.
Yeah, you hallucinate because it poisons you.
Because there's a toad in the Sonoran Desert in Mexico. You know about that?
I've heard of it, where if you lick it,
it's called no. The one you're talking about is a cane toad in Australia.
Oh, okay, so I'm not crazy.
No, I remember seeing that in like biology or something.
Yeah,
and, or some people would like dip a cigarette in the fucking poison.
Yeah.
But there's this one toad in the Sonoran Desert. It's called Bufo alvarius, and I guess it's in all kinds of like hieroglyphs and like the Aztecs and stuff. Mm-hmm. And it has like these glands that secrete this poison, and they squeeze it onto a glass, and then they dry it out, and it's 5-MeO DMT. So you have like these crazy. Mike Tyson has taken it. He talks. Hey, have you smoked the toad? I'm like, wow. There's so many things. So many things.
Oh my gosh, I know. I feel like I need to go home and like do research about all this now. Like
YouTube, it's free.
I love
it's
YouTube.
Free. Just I'm gonna listen or buy that book. Definitely.
Yeah. Oh, I have it. I wish I would have brought it. It's it's amazing.
So how long do you think we've been talking?
An hour?
Almost 2.5 hours.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Well, I know. I don't want to keep you. I don't know if you have to be anywhere.
No, I don't. Do you have any parting words? Anything you'd like to say?
No. It's been a pleasure. I need to get all the information so I can post it, but no, I don't have anything else. Yeah.
Well, I'm super thankful for you coming out here, taking time out of your day. I know we never get these times back.
I know.
And I don't know if I told you earlier, I already fucked up 2 interviews. I didn't hit record. Like I said, those guys with the DM. So that's 4 now. Now that I realize it's been 4 of them that I fucked up. So now I'm hitting record immediately.
Yeah, I know. I was like, I'm pretty sure we're already recording, but you didn't say anything. So I'm like, I'm just going to sit down.
But yeah, thank you so much.
Yeah,
thank you so much for getting out of your comfort zone, coming out here, and you thinking that we had nothing to talk about. Like, you know what? I just, I don't know how I know so much or why. Yeah. I used to be a quiet person. Like I used to be like, just keep to myself and stuff. But
and you just found me on Instagram. You're like, she's crazy.
No, I don't know. I don't know how that happened.
I was like, does he think I own a business? I'm not sure.
No, but when we talked, you were like, yeah, I have stories and I have my own.
Yeah, I do.
No, but you do. You've traveled. You've done a lot of different things that you think aren't interesting are very interesting to other people.
Yeah.
You've done things that you probably think are boring, but I'm sure.
I was just worried because a lot of things that I've done are also like maybe not legal. So.
Well, I don't think you're going to go to jail for things. What, transporting drugs?
No, I've never done that. Intentionally that I know of, but no, I've never done that. So
yeah, I knew a girl in Nevada City who used to grow weed and stuff. And have you ever seen Narcos or anything like that on Netflix?
I've never watched it, but I know the basis of the TV show.
It's a must watch.
Okay,
it's a must watch, and I highly recommend it.
Okay.
And she was like, "Yeah, I used to grow a bunch of weed, and this guy would fucking fly it from here to Georgia. Don't tell me how or." He never told me how he would fucking pound.
I wouldn't tell it either.
Like pounds and pounds of it. So
that's crazy. That's insane. So no, I've never done anything with drugs.
No.
So, yeah.
But maybe I sparked something for you to try some DMT.
I know, right? I just I think for me, it happens to go back to my childhood. I don't I'm very carefree because I'm the youngest of a lot of siblings, but I don't like the feeling of being out of control of myself, whereas I feel like I couldn't protect myself if something happened, or I couldn't protect someone else, or
being on drugs, is that what you mean?
Yeah, because if
I think the same
super, thing hallucinating, I can't.
Well, yeah, I mean there's ceremonies and stuff with meditators. That's
they babysit you basically.
Well, they know what they're doing because they play Icaros. It's like a whistling with like a rattle.
Oh.
And Google Icaros and you'll it sounds weird and and it helps depending on what you're doing. He knows what he's done so many of them that it depends where you go, right? There's a lot of different shows. Not just anybody. That's why it's good to do it with
You
like
have
some
to
of
go
your
with a
friends,
good
right?
person.
Because you talk about all these friends of yours that give you a different point of view, right?
Yeah, I love it.
And I don't know if they've tried anything, but like you could do that with like a bunch of you guys, but some are.
Come on, guys, we're gonna go take DMT. Just kidding.
Well, DMT is actually
Oh, is that so?
it's no, you smoke it, but it's a short lasting. Ayahuasca is like
okay.
hours, but they say it's like a cloud, and then it slowly brings you down.
That's how shrooms is, I guess.
And-
or like sometimes it's like this.
and DMT, because it's a bunch of different plants, you smoke it. They say it almost smells and tastes like plastic, like it's a weird.
Oh, okay.
But it changes your whole reality, like that. Like it will shoot you through the fucking universe. But it's like a 5-10 minute trip, and then
that's not bad.
Yeah, and then you're like, what the fuck did I just experience?
Like, oh my god.
Like I want to have myself being recorded, and because I want to remember it. I don't want to forget like any of it, you know.
What if they record it and you're just like asleep the whole time?
That's fine. I know they're like, because I think people have done it where I think Rogan and one of his comedians did it, and the guy was like, there was like foam fucking coming out of his mouth, and he looked like he was fucking blue. He's like, oh fuck, I killed him. Yeah. But it wasn't, because it affects everybody. It's different, you know, and it's a short trip. It's not.